Hi guys, I'm Lima and welcome to It's a Piece of Cake. In this tutorial today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really beautiful, gorgeous rose cake. It's very simple to make. We are going to be using a mold to get this exact shape, so obviously that's why it's so easy to do. So this mold I was so excited to use. I found it on eBay. A lot of sellers are selling them. You have to kind of shop around because some people are selling them up to about $30, but I purchased mine for about under $7. So you just have to type up on eBay large rose silicone mold, and then you'll get lots of sellers to choose from, and then you can purchase your mold. Once you have got your mold, we are going to spray it with some non-stick cooking spray, and you want this to be a really good spray. I love this particular spray. It is fantastic and I always use it and nothing ever sticks onto it with this spray. So once you've sprayed your mold, you're going to pour in your batter. Here I'm making a caramel mud cake, but of course you can make whichever cake that you want, and then you're going to bake it. Once you have baked it, you're going to leave it out to completely cool down in the mold for about an hour. So once it's finished baking, I've let it cool down. It's been more than an hour and I can tell it's completely cold, the cake, and then the mold will just come out easily. You don't want to take it off while your cake is still warm because your cake might crack, so make sure your cake has completely cooled down before you remove the mold. And obviously the mold just comes right off because it's silicone, so it's very easy. So now I've washed and dried my mold, and now I'm going to be putting in my chocolate layer. So here I've just melted some compound chocolate in the microwave and I'm just doing a coat around the mold, and that's going to be my first coat, and then I'm going to pop it in the fridge for 5 minutes to firm up. So that's my first coat, and now I'm going to repeat and do my second coat, and this is just basically our chocolate base or our cover that we're going to put the cake inside. So now I'm going around repeating the same process and doing my second coat, because you want it to be nice and thick, because if you have a thin coat, just one coat, it's going to crack when you remove it from its mold. So we're going to do the second coat here. Again, we're going to leave it for about 5-10 minutes to firm up, and once it's firmed up you can do a third coat, but I'm just going to kind of go around with my spatula. You can use a paintbrush here if you want, and just kind of fill in any areas where I can still see a bit of blue, because wherever you can see blue there's going to be a hole. You just want this to be a nice white base so you don't see any blue, and that way you know that you've covered your whole silicone mold. And then leave it in the fridge for about half an hour to completely be cold and firm, and just the chocolate to be really set, and then you can just start removing the mold. So the mold, obviously silicone molds are extremely flexible, they're very easy to work with, so rather than moving the chocolate around, you have to just focus on trying to move the silicone mold around. And when you keep moving the plastic or the mold, it kind of retracts from the chocolate, and it's very easy to get it off. So just keep removing it gently, slowly, just take your time. And then if your chocolate has obviously firmed up, then it should just come off easily without any cracking or breaking. So that's our base there. Basically that's the mold. So now if you have excess chocolate like I do around the sides, just use a knife to cut them off. Just go around all the corners, do whatever's comfortable for you. You could have it against the table or against your hand, and just trim off any excess chocolate. So once you've got the excess chocolate trimmed off, that's pretty much our rose. Really, really easy to make. So now you can fill this up with the cake that you previously baked. I didn't do that because I wanted to keep that cake for something else, because it was so beautiful to cut up, so I didn't want to cut it up, so I'm just using a normal sponge cake here with some white ganache and caramel sauce. But of course you can fill your cake with whatever you want to, or you can cut up that rose cake, which I just didn't want to break that cake, so I've used that for something else. And here I'm just adding normal cake because this is just for tutorials, so I'm just showing you guys. So now I'll let my ganache chill for a little bit and just smoothing out the top, just so I've got a nice clean base. And then I'm going to put my cake board on top of it. So I've got a bit of ganache on my cake board, putting it on top, and then just going to turn it around and then remove the silicone mold, and then you can line up your board against your cake. If it doesn't fit perfectly, you're going to have to cut around that excess board that you've got. So that's there. And then now to decorate it, it's really up to you. If you have an airbrush, you can use an airbrush with gel. It's really up to you how you want to decorate this. I've just sprayed it with some non-stick cooking spray, so I've got a wet tacky surface against my chocolate, and I've just mixed in some oil-based food color powder, but you can use any powder, any food color powder will work, and I'm mixing it in with some pearl dust, pearl shimmer, whatever you want to call them. They're available in cake decorating shops. I like to mix my powders with the pearl shimmer because it kind of softens out the color a lot. If you use the color on its own, it's quite strong and intense, but if you do want that vibrant color, then yeah, you can use the powder on its own, but I prefer to dilute, mix it and stir it in with that pearl just so the color softens out a bit. And all I'm doing is just a rough coat around the whole entire base. Now with your cake, if you didn't want to do it with a chocolate case, you can also, once the cake was baked, you could have also covered it with ganache and then covered it with fondant, but I find that with the chocolate you get to see all that detail really well. Now here I'm just showing you guys, if I didn't mix the color, so if I didn't mix my food color powder with pearl shimmer, can you see how strong the color really is? So that's why I mix it with the pearl shimmer. See that the corners, I'm just showing you guys the difference of the color. That's the color without mixing it in with the pearl shimmer. So it's a quite strong, vibrant color. So see the difference in the light pink against the pearl shimmered pink, and I didn't want such a strong color, so that's why I've diluted it, and that is just the difference between the colors. So what I'm going to do now is, which is my favorite part, and if you have been watching my videos then you know how much I love working with pearl shimmers and pearl dust. Once I've done this entire thing now, this is my favorite part, so I've got a big soft fluffy brush. This is actually a makeup brush, but I always use this for my baking because I find that the brush is so soft and it goes nicely in the corners. So this is just a big soft fluffy brush, and I'm just brushing in direct plain pearl shimmer. So it's just pearl shimmer. Pearl shimmers are available in your cake decorating shop. There's lots of different brands that sell them, but to me they're all pretty much the same. They just kind of give you this really luster, silky powder, like really silky look on cakes and fondant, or what you can use it with anything basically. It's fully eatable, but they don't have any flavor. So the food color powders and all these powders, they don't have no flavor at all. They just kind of give you the shape. So I'm going around with a smaller brush to do the inner parts because there's a bit of powder stuck there. So that's pretty much going to go around. Now here what I'm doing is, again, if you watch my tutorials, you know I love using gold. I love decorating with gold. That's been one of my favorite for over 5 years now. Now it's a thing, a lot of cake decorating do it, but I used to love doing gold years ago. So here all I'm doing is I'm using a brand, it's called Rocklum. I think that's how you say it, I have no idea, but something like that. They have a fantastic range of gold powders. So I've got it from my cake decorating shop, and they've got like a huge range of different shades of gold that you can use, and they're quite cheap. Like I got a little tub for about $5-6, and this entire cake, if you cover this entire cake, you still will have a lot left over in that little tub. So here I'm just going around to do the corners just to give it a bit of a contrasting color, just to kind of lift up a bit of color on our rose. So I'm just going around and just adding some gold wherever I want to, just to break it out from the pink. Of course you can do black, white, whatever color you want to do. I'm just using the gold because I wanted to kind of see what a gold rose would look like. So just kind of went on the corners and just breaking it out. That's pretty much there. That's a really nice, pretty pink and gold, very easy to do. But I wanted to actually do the whole entire rose now with gold. So what I'm doing is just using my gold powder. This is the same, that Rocklum one, and just going around and just going to brush it everywhere. Because I had sprayed it with non-stick cooking spray, it has dried out. I can tell if your mold has dried out, well, your chocolate has dried out, you can spray a little bit of non-stick cooking spray. So I'm adding just a bit of non-stick cooking spray if I need to, and just keep going around until I finish this entire rose with gold, because I just wanted to see it for myself. I wanted to see what it was going to look like all gold. Now normally I would recommend, if you are going to do gold, you have to do 2 coats. So once you spray it with non-stick cooking spray and you do 1 coat, you let that dry for a few hours and then you do the 2nd coat. But for today's tutorial I'm only doing that 1 coat. See, with the 1 coat you can see still a bit of that dark pink, so it kind of looks a bit more bronze rather than gold. That's because I need to do 2 coats, but I'm not going to do the 2 coats. I just wanted to get this out of my system and just see this gold, and I can now imagine what it would look like if it was really metallic gold. And that's it when it's cut in. So it's just a really soft spongy cake. Like I said, I used that cake for something else. I decorated that kind of with ganache, and I gave it to my mum, and obviously the rose looked beautiful with the ganache, so I kept that for something else. But I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial, and thanks so much for watching, and I hope you tune into my next video. Bye for now.